The interpreter can confirm there is connection with the headsets.
All right, sir, please state your name.
Yamil Javier Vargas Cuevas.
Camil Javier Vargas Cuevas.
All right, Mr. Vargas, I see you qualify for the offices of public defender, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with possession of heroin with the intent to sell with a weapon. I find probable cause, and I'll stay the bond at $15,000. All right, please follow the corrections officer out the blue door. We have a couple more, Mr. Leon. The defendant's approaching the.
Yes, Your
podium
Honor.
now.
May I have the case number for the Mr. Vargas?
22CT6408AO.
Is that for this one or the previous one?
That's for this one. You need the previous one?
Yes, please.
22CF13225.
All right, the
Thank you.
defendant has the headsets on. If you can make contact, please.
Sí.
The interpreter can confirm there is connection with the headsets.
All right, sir, please state your name.
Elmer Gutiérrez Valencia.
Elmer Gutierrez Valencia.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, I see that you qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. If you wanted to resolve the case today, it would be a withhold of adjudication, a $250 fine, or how much time served with you?
2 days.
Oh, I'll give you credit for time served, no fine, but mandatory court costs. And I'll give you time to pay. You know what you want to do?
El que me conceda tiempo para pagárselo, sí, está bien, acepto la culpabilidad.
I accept, and if you can give me some time to pay it off.
I will, yes.
Your Honor, when I spoke to him previously, we were going to ask for RR because based on his immigration status, if he does plead, then he's at risk.
All right, sir, if you're not a United States citizen, entering into a plea agreement today will subject you to deportation. Do you want to wait?
No, pues yo quiero salir porque tengo mis cosas afuera, dejé mi carro, mis cosas tengo afuera.
No, I just want to get out of here because I have everything, all my belongings outside, my car and everything else.
Tengo
Okay, well, you, your public defender has requested that I release you on your own recognizance, ROR, and I don't have an objection to that. So you'll get out today. You don't have to plead to the case today. You'll still be able to get out.
está bien.
And Your Honor, just for the record,
Okay, very well.
state would object to an ROR. He does have an open failure to appear out of DeSoto and other prior arrests. So state would object to an ROR, given we're unsure if Mr. Gutierrez is going to show up to deal with these charges at a later time due to his lack of community ties.
I don't see any convictions, like no felony convictions, no misdemeanor convictions, and no failure to appear in Florida. I don't see another failure to appear.
And Your Honor, he will not, he does have that, DeSoto County. All right, so, sir, you won't be released today because you have a warrant out of DeSoto County, and we have to let them know that you're here and to transport you. But then he's gonna have an open case here and they won't transport him. So I don't know, do you wanna resolve the case today? It sounds like he's got bigger issues, or what do you wanna do, counsel? Because if we don't resolve this case, then they're not gonna transport. If he has a court, I don't know what his arraignment will be, but if he has a court appearance within 30 days, they're not gonna transport him, I don't think. They won't let DeSoto pick him up, and then he'll be sitting in jail even longer.
It's for a same no valid. It's up to client. I don't want it to mess up his immigration, so it's up to him. So if he wants to plead, he can.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, let me try to explain this a little better. All right, so, even if the court released you on your own recognizance today, in this case, you will not be leaving jail because you have a failure to appear warrant out of DeSoto County. Now, if this case that you're here on today remains open, it might be an issue of getting you transported to DeSoto County. So you have the option of resolving the Orange County case today, but you'll still remain in jail until DeSoto County picks you up. Or if DeSoto County decides that they're not going to pick you up, then in 72 hours, you'd be released. So it's up to you. Do you know what you want to do? Do you need a little more time to think about it?
No, está bien, voy a esperar las 72 horas.
No, it's okay. I'm going to wait for the 72 hours.
Okay, all right. Then on the Orange County case, I'll release the defendant ROR, and then he'll remain here under the hold for DeSoto County. All right, sir, please follow the corrections officer out the blue door.
Your Honor, next on the Spanish interpreter list, we have Martinez Hernandez. He bonded.
Okay, thank you. Do we have another Spanish?
You have two.
Okay, two more. All right, sir, please approach and put on the headsets.
Sí. Interpreter can confirm there is connection with the headsets.
All right, sir, please state your name.
José David Betancourt Fleches. José David Betancourt Fleches.
Jose David Betancourt Fleches.
All right, Mr. Betancourt, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You have multiple charges. You have 70 counts of grand theft in the 3rd degree. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause, and I'll stay the bonds as set.
Also advise the defendant he has an immigration hold.
All right, Mr. Betancourt, you also, even if you're able to make the bond, you will not be released because have an immigration hold. All right, please follow the corrections officer out the blue door. And Mr. Leon, that was case number 2022 CF 13217AO.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We didn't have her out because they were.
Okay. We have one more. And the next case, Mr. Leon, is 2022 CF 13216AO.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sí, señor.
All right, ma'am, please
The
state your
interpreter
name.
can
Sandra Patricia Fleches.
Sandra Patricia Fleches.
All right, Ms. Fletches, you qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 70 counts of grand theft 3rd degree and 1 count of tampering with physical evidence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds as set.
Your Honor, this defendant also has a
All right, and ma'am, you also have an immigration hold, so even if you make the bond, you won't be released due to the immigration hold. All right, please follow the corrections officer out the blue door. Was that it for Spanish? All right, Mr. Leon, thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. You have a wonderful day.
You as well. Bye. All right, sir, please state your name.
Louis Manser.
All All right, Mr. Manser, you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with burglary of a dwelling, criminal mischief, and loitering or prowling. I have reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find probable cause, and I'll stay the bonds as set. Please follow the corrections officer out the blue door.
Your Honor, state would ask for no contact, no return.
Yes, I'll order no contact with the alleged victim and that you not return to the scene of the burglary. Alleged burglary. Do I have a note, do I have a note on the out on bond or? All right, please state your name.
Charles James Saint Armand.
All right, Mr. Saint Armand, you do qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with petty theft, providing false ID to a law enforcement officer, and burglary of a structure while wearing a mask. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds as set. I'm not going to take any action on the MM that you are currently ROR'd on because it hasn't been filed on yet. Please state your name.
Moore, Marquez Moore.
All right, Mr. Moore, looks like we've got several cases here that we are arraigning you on today. Oh, that's just one. Okay, I got it. Sorry, thank you. All right, so you've been charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Your Honor, state did convey an offer to Mr. Moore of a withhold credit time served.
All right, sir, if you wanted to resolve the case today, it would be a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, and mandatory court costs, which I would give you time to pay. Would you like to accept the offer? Yes.
I believe he's currently, there, we have competency concerns, Your Honor, so I don't think he should plea at this time.
Then why is he still in? Have you filed a suggestion of incompetency? Is he scheduled for eval?
I'll have to double check to see which case the competency is in, but I'm not sure, Your Honor.
There was a motion to suggest incompetency and revoking pretrial release on this case on 11/2. Based off of a case, a 2018 case where he was found incompetent.
So we don't have any new evals, right?
No, Your Honor, not from 2018, I don't believe.
This is stale, one from 2018. All right, I do see that the motion's been filed in the case, and it was also a motion for ROR because the PTR was revoked previously.
He picked up a new law, I believe. A new law, criminal mischief, which revoked the PTR.
Is that one still pending? I don't even have that one.
I believe so. 22 MM 424 AA. Warrant is pending and filed.
Okay. There's a confidential forensic it was already completed on 11/7, and I can't accept a plea. So, since the eval's already been completed, I'll go ahead and, ROR 'em on the CT case, the 2022 CT 1583 AW. And, Ms. Eugene, make sure that the public defender who's assigned to the case gets with the judge to get an order entered, since they need to do the notice of related cases, since you've already got
yes.
the.
Yes, good morning. This is President Leon with the Interpreters Department. May I have the judge's name? I didn't get it when I responded to the calls.
Caraballo.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. All right, so, so they need to do that notice of related case so the orders can be entered in all the cases. All right, Mr. Moore, it's imperative that you stay in contact with the Public Defender's Office. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today, but you're going to have another court appearance. I don't know when that is. So make sure that.
I'm gonna have my stepdad help me.
Okay, yeah, just make sure that you stay in contact with your lawyers, because you will have another court date and they'll get those cases addressed, okay?
Ma'am.
All right, please follow the corrections officer out the door.
Now, the next on our docket was, Abdath, AKA is also James Prudhomme.
All right, the public defender has already been, appointed in the case, so looks like a bond's already been set, right? Or on those?
This is Mr. Jones.
No, Prudhomme.
Abdath, AUDH2 is what we have.
Well, it was an in-jail arraignment anyway, so,
So we'll enter a plea of not guilty and set it for the next PTC date, Your Honor.
okay, we'll do. All right, please step forward and tell me your name. All right, Mr. Hill, you've been charged with criminal mischief. The Office of the Public Defender has already been appointed. Is there an offer?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Hill. This is a BOP. There is no offer at this time.
Where are the arraignments? Where are the in-jail arraignments?
For this, the offense of June.
In-jail is all the way to the top, county in-jail. Click OK. And then the ones for today are set there. Yes.
so it looks like, yes, so it's a arraignment on the VOP. It says that the condition is that you failed to comply with the instructions given to you by the court on October 7th, when you failed to report to the probation within 48 hours of release. So, the public defender was representing you below. Would you like the Office of the Public Defenders to represent you in the violation of probation?
Yes.
All right. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in the VOP. Ask Ms. Eugene, you had a question?
Yeah, because I was just in here, when I came in, they have them together. Both VOPs are together on the same docket when I just came in here.
Oh, because it was an on view. And then they'll be set in front of the judge, because the judge put no bond. All right, do you want to enter a denial, Ms. Eugene?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll enter a denial on the VOP, and then, Mr. Hill, you'll get another, date in front of, Division 61.
What if they reach me on the other?
They can transport you. The judge who signed this VOP warrant put no bond. But you can be transported over to the courthouse. Please step forward and state your name.
Deshaun Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you've been charged by information with trespass in a structure. Is there an offer?
Yes, state did command offer to Mr. Jones of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to the 7-Eleven at 4501 Conroy Road, and cost of investigation to Orlando Police Department in the amounts of $8403.
8403
03.
OPD.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jones, so I'm holding up a plea agreement form. Did you have the opportunity to go over this form with your attorney?
Yes.
And she answered all of your questions?
Yes.
Are you under the influence today of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would impair your thinking?
No.
Is anybody forcing you to enter into this plea agreement today?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, entering into this plea agreement will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation for any other offense?
No.
On the charge of trespassing a structure, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense. I'm going to give you credit for time served of 40 days. Is that correct? Yes. I'm going to require that you not return to the 7-Eleven located at 4501 Conroy Road in Orlando, Florida. I'm going to assess mandatory court cost, cost of prosecution, and cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department of $84.03. Is your client, is he homeless?
Let me double check, Your Honor. Are you able to waive the court fees, Your Honor, or put it as a civil lien?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Is he?
He said he's unable to pay the court costs, Your Honor.
I'll reduce the financial obligations to a civil judgment. Yeah. Right, oh, I said cost of prosecution, but yeah, that's the state. Please state your name.
First name is Junior, Junior. Last name is Prosper, Prosper.
Mr. Prosper.
And your state does not have an offer at this time.
All right, Mr. Prosper, you've been charged by information with trespass and structure and criminal mischief, and the public defender is already assigned. Those are M2s, and he's got 43 days in, but you don't have an offer?
No, Judge, not this time. It came in as a burglary, and I don't see any notes regarding speaking to that victim.
Client is interested in a credit time serve offer, Your Honor.
Well, because there is a victim, I do have to give the state the opportunity to talk to the victim. I'd be inclined to accept such a plea, but we do have, the victim has the right to be heard before I can accept the plea. So, you want to just plead not guilty, and then we'll set him for a pretrial conference?
Yes, Your Honor.
And,
Your Honor, one moment, please. He does have a question.
and since this was transferred from felony and the felony was dropped, I'm gonna adjust the bonds. All right, so on the trespass and the structure, I'll set bond in the amount of $500, and for the criminal mischief, I'll set bond in the amount of $100.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, client just needs clarification. He's not understanding that the state needs to contact the victim in order for him to be released credit time served. That victim input is needed.
Right, sir. Whenever a crime involves an alleged victim, the victim has the right to be heard before sentencing. So, I'm gonna give the state that opportunity. And state, if you can try, if he's unable to make bond, I wouldn't mind, I'm gonna be here all week. We can come back tomorrow and I can take a plea. State, if you can get in touch with the victim, I don't mind doing that. If he's unable, if the issue is he's unable to make bond.
Yes, I would need to get in touch with the victim and get a restitution amount, as it was a criminal mischief.
Okay, all right, we'll reset it for tomorrow then. Either you can post bond or we can get it reset tomorrow. I think we'll just reset it for tomorrow. Please state your name.
Deshaun Roberts.
All right, Mr. Roberts, you've been charged by information with petty theft.
Mr. Roberts, state did convey an offer to Mr. Roberts of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to the Dollar General located at 50 South Rosalind Avenue.
All right, sir, okay. I do, Mr. Roberts, before you, enter into the plea, I have to advise you that petty theft is an enhanceable offense. If you receive, today it will be an adjudication of guilt. I don't know if you have any others, but if you receive 2 adjudications for petty theft and you commit another act of petty theft, it can be charged as a felony. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Roberts, I'm holding up a plea agreement form. Did you have the opportunity to read this form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence today of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would impair your thinking?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody forcing you to enter into this plea agreement today?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, entering into the plea agreement will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation for any other offense?
No, ma'am.
On the charge of petty theft, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense. I'm going to give you credit for time served of 40 days. I'm going to require that you not return to the Dollar General located at 50 South Rosalind Avenue. I'm going to assess mandatory court cost and cost of prosecution. I don't show that the public defender was ever appointed in the case, so I'm not going to do the PD lien. And as to the financial obligations, I'll give you 6 months to pay that off. If for any reason you're unable to pay it off within that time, you must report to the clerk of the court's office to set up a payment plan. All right, please follow the corrections officer out. Please state your name.
Seawright Michael, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Seawright. You've been charged by information with being in the park after hours, violation of municipal ordinance.
Your Honor, State did convey an offer to Mr. Seawright on behalf of the city of an adjudication, credit time served, court cost, and a $10 filing fee.
And those court cards are $223, aren't they, for the city?
I believe so, yes.
All right, Mr. Seawright, I'm holding, and also the PD hasn't been appointed, so.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Seawright, I'm holding up a plea agreement form. Did you have the opportunity to read this form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the rights you're giving up? Are you under the influence today of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would impair your thinking? Is anybody forcing you to enter into the plea agreement today? Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, entering into this plea agreement will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation for any other offense? On the charge of being in the park after hours, how do you plead?
Contents, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense. I'm going to give you credit for time served of 40 days. I'm going to assess the mandatory court cost of $23 and $10 filing fee. As to the financial obligations, I'll give you 6 months to pay that off. If for any reason you're unable to pay it off within that time, report to the clerk of the court's office to set up a payment plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Please follow the corrections officer out. Please state your name.
Alexander Tomacelli.
All right, Mr. Tomaselli, I show that the Office of the Public Defender has already been assigned to your case. You've been charged by information with violation of an injunction for protection of a vulnerable adult and resisting an officer without violence. I'm assuming there's no offer, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, sir, so, all right, so the bonds on count one, it's, was set at $2,500 and count two was $500. So those bonds remain in effect and your case will be set, we'll enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and your case will be set for a pretrial conference in Division 50.
Pre-trial conference, December 9th at 9 o'clock, courtroom 4.
All right, sir, please follow the corrections.
So I'm able to bond out now, ma'am?
No. He has another case, Your Honor, that he was revoked on that is set at no bond.
When, I don't see it.
It was a 22 MM 5303 AO case. It was a domestic violence and violation of a domestic injunction.
So even if you bond on this one, sir, you can't, the other one, your bond was revoked and set at none. And so that one will also have to be, it's in Division 50. So I'm sure there will be, if it hasn't already got a court date, I'm sure there will be one soon. And then whenever you get in front of Judge McGinnis, he'll be able to do everything. Please step forward and state your name. Yes.
The first one on our docket was Armani Testa.
Yes.
She bonded.
Thank you.
We're done with Orlando? Oh, okay. Okay.
Next on the docket, Your Honor, was Jaquan Hernandez. He also bonded.
Thank you. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Brian Corey Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you've been charged with resisting an officer without violence and loitering or prowling. You do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
There is an offer to resolve this case, Your Honor.
Okay,
State committed an offer of a withhold, credit time served, and no return to Westmoreland and Alba Drive.
all right, sir. I'm holding up a plea agreement form, sir. Did you have the opportunity to go over this form with your counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she answered all of your questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence today of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would impair your thinking?
No, Your Honor.
Is anybody forcing you to enter into this plea agreement?
No, Your Honor. It forced me here.
Do you understand? Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Physically.
Walking down the street, black man, and they jump on me.
All right, sir. Are you currently on probation for any other
Oh, man,
offense?
I've never been arrested here.
All right, sir. On the charge of resisting an officer without violence and loitering or prowling, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to withhold adjudication. I'm going to give you credit for time served. I'm going to assess the mandatory court costs and costs of prosecution. And I'm going to require that you not return to the intersection of North Westmoreland Drive and Alba Drive in Orlando.
Never.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please step forward and state your name.
Caleb Robinson.
All right, Mr. Robertson, and I don't see, did you want to be represented by the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Do you have any, okay, you can put your hand down. Do you have any dependents?
Dependents, no.
All right, and do you have any source of income?
At the moment, no, I do not.
Okay, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with larceny or other theft. Are we gonna,
State didn't commit an offer, Your Honor, it's enhanceable.
okay. All right, sir, so there's no offer today. I do find, probable cause and I'll stay the bond. It's set at $250.
The state would ask for a no return to the Florida Mall.
All right, and I'm going to require until your case is resolved and maybe thereafter, that you not return to the Florida Mall. All right.
Your Honor, next on our docket was Elsie Rodriguez.
Yes,
He bonded.
thank you. All right, sir, please state your name.
Jeffrey Sheffield Jr.
All right, Mr. Sheffield, you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with trespass on property after warning. Would I have notes? Do we want to resolve that today, or?
Your Honor, state didn't convey an offer due to his out on bond. He just picked up a trespass at the same location 5 days ago. So state doesn't have an offer at this time.
Yeah, so I see that the CF, neither one, I know one of them is a brand-new case. It hasn't been filed on, but there's one, like 120 days old, still hasn't been filed on yet. So I won't take any action on the two cases that don't have an information yet. And we'll stay the bond at 500.
State would ask for a no return to the Knights Inn.
Yes, sir. I'm going to require that you not return to the Knights Inn located at 5870 South Orange Blossom Trail.
Your Honor, is it possible if he can get a one-time return? He says he lives there and his children are there as well.
Your Honor, I believe that was ordered in the previous case. And they came up with he was supposed to meet Ms. Curtis at the McDonald's to not go back to the location, and instead he went back to the location. So state would object to a one-time return. I believe it was ordered on the previous case and it was not abided by.
Right, sir. So Yes, it would have been, ordered in the DV case that he could return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve his personal belongings. So, he should, I imagine that is still in effect, that order, if it hasn't been done, so, no.
Your Honor, he has a question. One moment, please. I apologize.
Your Honor, I believe that DV case is a different victim.
I'm sorry, what?
That DV case was a different victim,
Oh,
but I believe the one-time return would have been in the other trespass given it was the same location.
oh, okay. Please state your name.
Richard Van.
Mr. Van, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, state did not convey an offer. His out on bond, that other petty theft occurred 11/11, so 3 days ago at a different Walmart, also stealing the same items, aerosol cans. So state did not convey an offer at this time.
Okay, and so this is the one that the PTR hasn't made it to Odyssey yet, but he was PTR on that other case, right? Yeah. Okay, and. Yes. Oh, it said surety bond, not PTR, okay. All right, so, Mr. Van, looks like you're addicted to other people's property, so, I'm gonna stay the bond at $250 in the current case, but I'm going to revoke your bond in the other case and set bond in the amount of $2,500 in the 2022 MM648 AW.
And Your Honor, in the new law, the 7669, state would ask for a no return to that Walmart as well.
Yes, Mr. Van, I'm gonna require that you not return to the Walmart located at 3101 West Princeton Street.
Your Honor, he does have a question. One moment, please.
Sure.
Your Honor, next on our docket was Jenna Brown. She bonded.
Thank you. Please step forward and state your name, sir.
Your Honor, also
Oh.
St. Laurent checked after Brown, St. Laurent. She bonded also.
Thank you.
Brian Lopez, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Lopez, I don't see a public defender. Would you like to be represented in this case by the Office of the Public Defender?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Sir.
All right, do you have any dependents? You can put your hand down. Do you have any dependents?
No.
All right, do you have any income?
No.
You're not working?
No, the only income that I make is plasma money currently at the moment because I'm technically homeless. I've been currently staying at a friend's house.
All right, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license and reckless driving. And I will tell you that reckless driving is punishable by up to 90 days in the Orange County Jail with a minimum fine of $25 and maximum fine of $500. And then the no valid is also, is there, State, do you want me to convey an offer or?
State didn't convey one, Your Honor. However, if you wanted to convey in bench, you could. State didn't due to the reckless driving.
All right, sir, if you wanted to, how much time served does he have?
1 day.
One day. Just 1 day?
Yes, he was picked up this morning at like 1 a.m.
All right, sir, if you wanted to resolve the case today on the no valid, it would be a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served. And on the reckless driving, it would be, 10 days in Orange County Jail and, mandatory court costs, which I give you time to pay. So if you want to talk to Mr. Eugene about that and decide if you want to accept that or if you want to plead not guilty, and we'll set your case for an arraignment.
I do have a question. In regards to the reckless driving, will his license be, well, he doesn't have one, never mind. Will his driving privileges be suspended for a period of 1 year if he enters his plea for the reckless?
Is it a 1-year suspension on the DL?
I'm double checking. I don't believe so.
I don't
from what
think,
remember,
I don't
but-
think it is. I don't think that reckless is the racing.
Oh, the racing.
The
Racing
racing
and
is
then
not the
DUIs.
reckless. The reckless isn't a mandatory 1 year.
One moment, please, y'all. No, she'll give you one. Your Honor, at this time, he's not interested in the offer at this time. He would like to be released if a bond amount is set, but defense will be asking for RR if you have no objection to that. I do not see any failure to appears on his history.
Your Honor, state would object to an ROR given the inherently dangerous nature of his actions. He does have a recent conviction. He also does have a failure to appear out of Seminole County that he has a hold for. And it appears he has limited criminal ties. I believe he told PTR he's only been around for 1 to 3 months. So state would object to an ROR at this time.
Right, I would stay the bond at $500 on count 1. I would reduce the bond on count 2 to $150 though. He doesn't qualify for PTR, I'm not gonna ROR.
Next on our docket was Martinez Hernandez. He bonded. Oh, he was also on the Spanish school, but don't worry about it. After Martinez Hernandez was Smith, Caitlin,
Yes,
she bonded.
thank you. Please step forward and state your name. I
Jesse
have any
Butler.
notes on that one. All right, sir, let's see here. You do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with possession of cocaine. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bond. I'm not going to take any action on the felony, on the other felony case, the 2022 CF 011839AO, because it hasn't been filed on yet. All right, please step forward and state your name.
Tiffany East.
All right, Ms. East, I do see that you do not qualify for a public defender. You've been charged with criminal mischief and tampering with a coin-operated machine. I have reviewed the arrest affidavit and I find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds. Count 1 is $1,500. Count 2 is $250. Let me just see if you qualify. No, you do not qualify. Wasn't there a co-defendant? Yeah.
Yes.
So do we want no contact?
No contact and a no return, please.
Yeah, so I'm gonna require that you not have any contact with Mr. Hodges, and also that you not return to the location of 8818 Rose Avenue, the auto wash.
Okay. Can I be notified why I do not qualify for public defender?
Yeah, the affidavit that you filled out said, is it correct that you get paid $600 weekly and you have no dependents?
Monthly.
Monthly, okay, well, that's different. So let me change that. Yeah, that does qualify.
Yes, her.
Yeah.
And it's monthly?
Yeah.
Yeah, she qualifies.
Okay, you do qualify, so, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, can you repeat the bond amount for me one more time? I apologize.
Sure, I think it was 1,500 and
250.
250.
Your Honor, if possible, are you able to reduce the bond amount in count one?
To what? What are you proposing?
$500, Your Honor?
State, what would be your position?
Your Honor, state would object due to her last conviction also being a criminal mischief. I'm double checking if that was similar in nature, but state would object at this time.
Your Honor, based on how I was reading the facts of the case, it's stating that even though the officers watched the surveillance footage, they didn't indicate whether or not she was awake. She indicated to the officers that she was sleeping. And because she was in the passenger side of the vehicle, they're not contesting that. I don't think that she had knowledge to what the other person was doing.
Your Honor, Ms. East also has a misdemeanor non-arrest case to open, also tampering with a coin machine at the same location. And that one allegedly occurred.
I'm just unable to see the non-arrest cases.
The other alleged messing with the coin machine at the auto wash on Rose Avenue occurred August 26th of this year. So given that this is not the first time, state would object to lowering her bond and $1,500 for an F3. Given that she does have other criminal history, state believes is reasonable and other criminal mischief convictions.
I'm not gonna lower the bond, Ms. Eugene.
I'm not too sure, but she said she's not lowering the bond.
Please state your name.
Alicia Gatewood.
All right, Miss, do I have any notes on? Ms. Gatewood, I do see that you qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with possession of cocaine, attempted destruction of evidence, providing false ID to law enforcement officer, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
They provided some cases on them, so you have the fair to appear.
Then you've also been charged on a separate case. You've been charged with possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do qualify, I appoint the Officer of the Public Defender on both cases. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds on the felony case. On the misdemeanor case, would she qualify for the PTD anyway? Can I ROR on the misdemeanor? I'm gonna revoke her bond on the other felony, so she's not getting out anyway.
Okay.
Is it the 2021 where there's no bond, that one?
Your Honor, yeah, she has a third case, Your Honor.
She also has
Three cases.
a failure to appear.
Said no bond, so you won't be able to get out anyway.
Okay, so then she's got a failure to appear on the 2021 CF 12926 AO. And the judge in that case set bond at none. So I'll stay that bond. I'll stay the bonds on the felonies, and then I just need to know on the misdemeanor state.
Yes, Your Honor, likely. She likely would.
All right, in the 2022 MM 7667 AO, I'll ROR the defendant on both counts 1 and 2. And then in case number 2022 CF 10970 AO, I'm going to revoke the bond.
Your Honor, she does have a question. You just need to explain something to her. One moment, please.
You may. I'll do it at 2,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss Eugene, on the count that I revoke, on the felony that I revoked the bond, I set it at 2,500.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you. No. Gave you bond on the new case, but the other case, no.
All right, please state your name.
Anthony Hodges.
All right, Mr. Hodges, you qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. They're gonna, since there's two co-defendants, they'll move to withdraw on one of them. Most likely, Regional Conflict Counsel will step in for one of you all. But you've been charged with criminal mischief and tampering with a coin-operated machine. I have reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds and require that you have no contact with Miss Tiffany East
Your Honor, would also ask for a no return.
and no return to the auto wash located at 8818 Rose Avenue. Please state your name.
Nathaniel Ivory.
All right, Mr. Ivory, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with possession of cocaine with intent to sell, deliver, possession of meth, possession of coke, possession of another count of possession of meth, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds.
Can you repeat that, ma'am? Find probable cause on what now?
On the charges that you've been arrested for based on the arrest affidavit. Ask Miss Eugene, though, before you say anything.
I ain't understand that.
That doesn't mean the attorney cannot file a motion to suppress it.
All right, Mr. Ivory, you have the opportunity to consult with the public defender in greater detail. I've appointed them to represent you, and someone will be out here to talk to you, and you'll have the opportunity to talk in greater detail. Please follow the corrections officer out the blue door. Please step forward and state your name.
Blake Lindsay.
All right, you've been, I do see you qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with sale and delivery of a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bonds, but you also qualify for pretrial release. So would you like to participate in the pretrial release program? All right, I'll release you on the PTR. Now, on the pretrial release, you undergo random urinalysis testing. Do you need 30 days before your first test?
I have a medical card, so yes. I do need 30 days.
Okay, all right, so we'll have the first testing at least 30 days out.
I'm sorry, so you're ordering RUAs, Your Honor?
Yeah, for that charge.
Okay.
Please state your name.
Alexander Musler.
Mr. Musler, let's see here. It says here you do not qualify for a public defender. Is your pay, is it weekly? Was that the amount? Is that the correct, was the correct box checked?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, so you don't qualify. You've been charged with possession of cocaine with a weapon and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll stay the bonds. I'll find probable cause and stay the bonds.
Sorry.
The bond was previously set at $30,000 on count 1 and $200 on count 2, and I'm not going to adjust those. Please follow the corrections officer out the blue door. Please tell me your name.
James Rivera.
All right, Mr. Rivera, I do not see your public defenders. Would you like to be represented by the public defender in this case?
For right now, so I can get a lawyer, cause
All right, you want to hire your own lawyer? You can afford your own counsel?
I gotta see, nobody answered.
Okay, well, at this point in time, if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you if you qualify. Do you want to see if you qualify?
Yes.
All right, please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Do you have any dependents, sir?
My daughter.
All right, one, and do you have any source of income?
Ma'am.
You have no income, you're unemployed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with possession of cocaine with a weapon, carrying a concealed firearm, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause, and I'll stay the bonds. Please follow the officer out the door.
Next one, Dr. Stravion Robert, he bonded.
Thank you.
I have him at 0 bond. How did he bond?
I had that as 0 bond too.
For Travion Robert,
Yeah.
it was at a $5,000 bond.
Okay.
I don't know how I got this 0 bond thing. Okay.
Oh, my sheet says no bond.
0-2, yeah.
It says 0, but-
Oh, the actual warrant has a bond on the sheet, on the affidavit. It doesn't list it, but the warrant itself had a bond.
Oh,
All right, please step forward and state your name.
Titan Wayne Robichaud.
All right, sir, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with burglary of an occupied conveyance, attempted carjacking, 1, 2, 3 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, 1 count of criminal mischief greater than $1,000, and 1 count of criminal mischief greater than $2,000 but less than $1,000, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. And the attempted carjacking is a PBL, right?
No, Your Honor, given that it's an attempted, it's an F2.
Oh, okay.
So count 1 and count 2 are both F2s.
All right, so it's an F2. All right, state, what do you propose for the bond then?
Your Honor, Mr. Robichaud doesn't seem to have too much criminal history. It doesn't appear that he has failures to appear, and his last conviction was for Dwillis. So on count 2, state would ask for $10,000 and to stay every other count.
Okay, and Ms. Eugene, do you have any argument on the bond?
One moment, please, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're just asking that you set a reasonable bond in the other charges, Your Honor. Possibly $150 on each other count if you're setting the $10,000 bond on count 2.
All right, well,
Aside from
the
the-
burglary has a $5,000 bond, so it would be essentially be a $15,000 bond on counts 1 and 2, and then $150 on the rest, except a couple down there have 100.
Okay.
So what I'll do is on count 1, the burglary, I'll stay the bond at $5,000. Count 2, attempted carjacking, I'll set bond at the amount of $10,000. And counts 3 through 9, I'll set bond in the amount of $100 each.
And Your Honor, state would ask for a no contact, no weapons.
Yeah, bring him back for just a second. Mr. Robichaud, I'm gonna require that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, and that you also not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you need to turn them over to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration.
Your Honor, state would also ask for a no return to the Faith United Methodist Church.
And I'm gonna require that you not return to the Faith United Methodist Church, the location. All right, sir, thank you. All right, sir, please state your name.
We waived the, Your Honor, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
And you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. I'll stay the bonds, but did I put a note on those? No, okay, so I'm going to revoke the bond in 2022 CF 11878 AO, and I'm gonna set it at none, given the similarity of the cases, and also 2022 CF 12312 AO, I'm revoking the bond and setting it at none.
Your Honor, are you able to appoint us to the 2 cases he's out on bond for?
Yes, private counsel.
You've
It's private? Okay.
previously been appointed.
Okay.
And Your Honor, state would ask for a no contact, a no return. I believe this happened at his place of business. He was a chiropractor, to which he has a fiduciary duty to his clients. So state would ask for a no return to his business, no contact with the victim, and to surrender his license.
I'm not sure if you could,
I'm not sure I can order that IAs, but I will require that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. And is he the owner of the business or just an employee?
I was here on one of the other sex bats, and I believe on that one, his passport was surrendered, and it was ordered that he did not practice. So I'm not sure, Your Honor, I do not believe.
so he's the owner, and he's the only person that works there, and he's the owner as well.
All right,
So we'll object to the no returning to the business. Maybe not practice, but not the no returning to the business, Your Honor.
yeah, at this time, on the current case that's here for the IA, I'm going to order no contact with the alleged victims. And I'm not gonna order anything else on the case, because it's an arrest warrant. Another judge found probable cause, so I don't even know all the facts of the case. And of course, if anything has been ordered in the other cases, then that order still applies.
So, the add-on bonds, were they just revoked?
They're revoked, and I'm setting it none.
Thank you.
You have a private for the auto bond too?
All right, please follow the officer out the blue door. Please step forward and state your name. Mr. Savoca? Please state your name.
John Anthony Savoca.
All right, Mr. Savoca, you do qualify for a public defender. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with burglary of an occupied structure. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause. I'll stay the bond.
Your Honor, state would ask for a no return to the Walmart.
Yes, and I'll require that there be no return to the Walmart located at 11250 East Colonial Drive. Please follow the officer out the blue door. All right, please step forward and tell me your name.
RKO Shoemate.
All right, Mr. Shoemate. Let's see here, you do, oh, no, you do not qualify for the public defender. Is that correct? It says that your income is on a weekly basis, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, so you do not qualify for a public defender. You've been charged with trespass on a designated construction site. And, so there, I do find probable cause, and I'll stay the bond at $500.
Your Honor, state would ask for a no return.
And I'll require that you not return to the site located at 710 South Tampa Avenue. Please follow the officer out the door. You know what, on those bond, I don't think I can do no bond. All right, anything else?
Nothing from the state. Oh, that's all. Nothing.
All right, thank you, we're off the record. So you're here on a Seminole County warrant, and I see, did we, no, these are out of order. All right, so, it looks like they've set bond in the amount of $2,500. Can you not make the bond? Is that the problem?
Yeah, I can't bond. I don't have money.
You have no means to make the bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, and we've notified Seminole County, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's more than 24 hours?
We've been notifying them since the 3rd of November. Our last contact with them was yesterday as of the 13th, and still no pickup line.
Okay, all right, sir. Since you can't afford to make bond and you have no Orange County charges, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, RORU. But I would tell you that I have to direct that you report to the Seminole County Courthouse on a date to be scheduled by Seminole County. So you need to make sure that you check, you can probably check your case file online. I know in Orange County, you can look up your case if you can go to the library or something and look up your case and find out if you don't have, I don't know if you have a good address, but the Seminole County will set a date and time for your next court appearance, and you need to make sure that you comply with that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, please state your name.
Israel Gonzalez.
Next on our reset, yes, ma'am.
I don't have that one. Mm-mm. No, I don't have, I don't know his case. No.
Oh, here he is. Okay, he was the one that I had before the other one.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We don't need him. He bonded all his charges.
Mr. Gonzalez, you've already posted bond?
To my knowledge, I've been R&R'd. I'm waiting on Seminole County.
So you're saying we don't need to address him?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, sir, thank you. Redding, Dominique Redding? Okay. Please state your name.
Joshua Joseph, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Joseph, it looks like you are here under a warrant from which county? From Polk County. Have we notified Polk County to pick up Mr. Joseph?
Your Honor, I believe the issue was that yesterday, we didn't get an affidavit of violation of probation to see why he violated probation. And I don't know if there was a bond amount set on the VOP.
There isn't, but it's out of county. There's no, it says no bond. But if, I don't know if we've notified Polk County to pick him up.
We have, Your Honor.
And has it been more than 24 hours since we notified Polk County to pick him up?
We notified them on the 12th. Usually Polk County has 72 hours.
Oh, Polk is one of the 72s?
Yes.
All right, sir, so you notified him on the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. All right, so we can, they have 72 hours to pick you up. If you're not picked up in 72 hours, you'll come back to an initial appearance, and it'll be me. I'm here all week, and if Polk County doesn't pick you up, I'll set a bond.
Okay, quick question, right?
but it got me violation of probation, but I don't have no charge, period. I'm not charged with anything. I'm me and her trying to figure out, like, I'm violation of probation, but how am I violate with no charge whatsoever?
I believe he's on probation for Berg unoccupied dwelling.
Yeah, I mean, the teletype has a warrant, and so, but certainly, we've notified them, and so we can bring it back. Tomorrow would be 72 hours, so you can come back in tomorrow and I'll set a bond if you're not picked up, and then that'll give, Ms. Eugene, if you can try to dig into Polk County and see what's going on, and even if you find anything out, we can address them in the second session today, maybe.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Joseph, we'll get it at least worked out by tomorrow.
I appreciate it, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You want me to reset him for tomorrow?
Yeah, because that'll be the 72 hours. Please state your name. All right, Mr. Redding, let's see here. And Mr. Redding.
I don't have a Dominique Redding, but I can double check.
You are here, it looks like we've notified Seminole County a few times to make arrangements to pick you up, and they have not done so. So I don't see a bond amount, so I will release you, ROR, I'll release you on your own recognizance today. And you must report to the Seminole County Court on a date and time to be scheduled by that jurisdiction. Please, I don't know if you have a valid address. You might get it in the mail, but you can also, probably their court records are online, like Orange County, and you can look up your case and see when your next date and time is, so you don't get another failure to appear.
I gotta pay lawyer and everything. I got everything.
Okay, well, I'm releasing your ROR, so get with your attorney and make sure you don't miss your next court date. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Please follow the officer out the door. Sir, please step forward and tell me your name.
George Rojas.
Rojas, okay. What happened to Mr. Plotkin?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, Mr. Plotkin's not here due to medical reasons.
Right, so it's medical.
And Your Honor, state does have a supplement.
1 second, we're adjusting.
All right, we've already appointed the PD, and you waived his appearance yesterday, is that correct, or?
It was reset for 24 hours for PC, Your Honor. I needed a supplementary report, you have it?
Well, are you gonna waive his appearance for today?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm gonna waive his Plotkin's appearance for today.
All right,
Address the
so
PC
I'll
argument.
appoint the PD, we'll waive the appearance. You may. So we're waiting, the state was given additional time.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there is probable cause. All right, and I'll stay the bond at 500.
Your Honor, state would ask for a no return to the Home Depot.
Yes, and no return to the Home Depot. All right, Mr. Rojas.
And Your Honor, state has a supplement for Mr. Rojas as well. May I
Okay,
approach?
you may. Thank you. I do find probable cause. The Office of the Public Defender was previously appointed. I'll stay the bond at 500. No return to the Home Depot.
Your Honor, 1 moment, please. He does have a question.
I have it off. I don't know. I don't have it. I have no calls in progress.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Being that his last conviction was in 2017, client would like to know if you have any objection to him being released ROR in regards to this case.
Your Honor, state would object. He has 7 prior failures to appear and a pretty lengthy criminal history, including 3 prior VOPs, showing an inability to comply with court order. State would object to an ROR and believes the $500 bond is reasonable given his criminal history.
Or reduced bond in the amount of $250, Your Honor.
So he doesn't qualify for PTR. Actually, a $250 bond will cost him more than a $500 bond. Won't it?
I was under the impression that's $1,000 or more for the 10%.
No, I thought it was 500.
500?
Yeah,
Okay.
so if it's 250, you'd have to post the whole 250 as opposed to 50.
Okay, then $500 is fine.
All right, we'll stay at 500.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Next on our docket was Joseph Conyers.
Yes.
He refused his appearance.
All right, may I appoint the public defender
Yes,
provisionally on Mr. Conyers?
Yes, Your Honor, and we will waive.
All right, and I'll set, is there any witness here on the Joseph Conyers case? All right, I'll set bond in the amount of $2,500. I'm going to order no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence, although I think they're homeless. Yeah, they're homeless, so no contact with the victim. No weapons or firearms. Turn in to the Orange County Sheriff's within 24 hours if he has any weapons or firearms. All right, please step forward and tell me your name. All right, Mr. Davis, you've been charged with battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and did you, I don't see, here it is, yes it is, okay. So you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you? You still want to be represented by counsel? And do I have anybody here on the Eric Davis case? All right, so there's nobody here, but you are entitled to a bond. State, do you want to make any argument on the bond?
Your Honor, state would only argument as to, he does have a prior ag.deli weapon DV. However, I do believe it was a different victim. State we just wanted to bring that to your attention, as well as 2 prior failures to appear. One that was recent in 2021. So state would just ask for a reasonable bond, taking that into account with contact with the victim or any of the witnesses, as there did. There does seem to appear to be several witnesses at the scene.
Ms. Eugene, do you have any argument on bond?
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Sure.
No, Your Honor, just a reasonable amount bond be set, $1,000, Your Honor.
Right, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim or any of the witnesses. You may return one time to the residence with law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you own any weapons or firearms, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. Whenever you turn in your weapons, please don't walk into the sheriff's substation with the weapons in your hand. Leave them in the trunk of your car and let them know that you're turning it in pursuant to a court order. Anything else, State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, please state your name. All right, Ms. Tyson, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and I see that you do not qualify for a public defender. Is there anybody here on Ms. Tyson's case? Any witnesses, victims? Okay. All right, Ms. Tyson, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time to the residence in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. Again, please don't walk into the sheriff's substation with those in your hand, leave them in the trunk of your car. Ma'am, you do qualify for PTR. Would you like to participate in the pretrial release program as opposed to posting a monetary bond?
Yes, ma'am, if I can. I don't know what that is. This is my first time.
Sure. Pretrial release is a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Department. It involves reporting to them on a regular basis, maintaining certain information, random drug and alcohol testing, and other things.
Okay.
So you want to participate in the PTR program? All right, so I'll release you under the PTR program. And are those shared children? Are the children that were there, are those also your kids or no? Just the victim? Okay, all right. Thank you. That's it. All right, please step forward and state your name.
Catherine Chisholm.
All right, Ms. Chisholm, you've been charged with battery, dating violence. And I don't see, did you want to be represented by the Public Defender's Office? No? Okay. All right, sir, if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Anthony Jackson.
All right, state, you may inquire, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your relationship to Miss Chisholm?
This is my girlfriend.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, ma'am.
If anything like this or anything more severe, where you ever felt threatened ever happened, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Say what now?
If anything ever happened where you felt threatened, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
I'm not threatened.
If anything ever happened where you did feel threatened, would you feel comfortable?
What do you mean?
If something happened like this again, if she started to strike you or hit you with an object, would you feel okay about calling 911 in the future if anything ever did happen?
Yes, ma'am, but she never struck me. She never hit me.
Okay.
Would you like to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
And she qualifies for the PTR program that the judge just explained to the other woman. Is that something that sounds okay to you?
Yes, ma'am. P trial. Yes, ma'am. Hey, can I say something?
Maybe. Wait, go ahead, sir.
She never did anything to me, so why, you know what I mean, she's here. And,
Okay, Mr. Jackson, that's not for this court to decide today. That'll come up later on. We're just here at this very limited proceeding is to set a bond amount. So the actual facts of the case, I understand what you're saying, that'll be determined at a later time. But I do appreciate you coming in.
So you gonna give her a bond or you gonna give her a PTR?
I'm gonna talk to her about that.
All right.
All right, Ms. Chisholm, you do qualify for a pretrial release. You can participate in the pretrial release program, or I'll set a monetary bond. Which do you prefer?
She preserved pre-trial. She don't understand that.
Hold on just a second, sir. Okay, she has to speak for herself.
Okay.
All right.
What is PTR?
So PTR, ma'am, is pretrial release. It's a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Department, and it's a way to get out of jail without posting a monetary bond. But in exchange for that, you have to report to PTR on a regular basis. You have to undergo random drug and alcohol testing, and you have to stay in contact with them during the pendency of your case. It's either that or I'll set a monetary bond for you. So you can do that, or the court will set a monetary bond. Which do you prefer, ma'am?
I'll do the
All right, so, I'll release you under the PTR. I'm going to require that you have no hostile contact, with Mr. Jackson. I know he's indicating that nothing happened, but I am ordering that you have no hostile contact with him. All right, please follow the officer out the door.
Sir, here's a card. You can call the state and tell them whether or not you want to proceed, okay?
Hey,
Please tell me your name.
Kyle Crawford.
All right, Mr. Crawford, and I don't see, affidavit. Did you want to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender in this case? No? Are you going to get your own counsel? Okay, and so you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Is there anybody here on Mr. Crawford's case? All right, sir, so, there's,
Oh, yeah, I'm right there.
no, is that somebody here on Mr. Crawford's case?
Yes, Your Honor, someone's coming in.
Oh, okay. All right, sir, if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Colbert Mitchell.
All right, state, you may inquire of Mr. Mitchell.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your relationship to Mr. Crawford?
My stepson.
Are you afraid of him?
No, I am.
I'm sorry, was that no?
I said, no, I am.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
No.
And has anything ever like this happened before?
No.
And do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved in this incident?
I got no clue. Because actually, I was home when he came home, so he just walked in and they started with the attitude, and then I said something and they started beating me.
Understood. And he qualifies also for the pretrial release program that you've heard us talk about. Is that something you would object to, or is that something that you think is okay for Mr. Crawford? Okay. Stand no further questions.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, does, Mr. Crawford reside with you?
Yes, he do.
And you said you don't want any contact with him, right?
I do not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Crawford, you do qualify for the pretrial release program. This is a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Department. You have to report on a regular basis, undergo random drug and alcohol testing, or the court will set a monetary bond. Do you want to participate in the PTR program?
You said a monetary bond?
Yes, it'll be pretrial release or a monetary bond.
Trial release.
All right, so I'll release you to the pretrial release program. I am going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim and the witnesses. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate, yes.
I know he doesn't want to be represented by the public defender, but one of the witnesses is his mother, just to put that out there.
Okay, well, until this case gets in front of a judge, I don't want any contact with the witnesses.
Okay.
I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. You may return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. When you turn in those weapons and firearms, you need to leave them in the trunk of your car, go into the substation, let them know that you're turning in pursuant to a court order, and the deputies will come out and get it. Don't walk into the sheriff's office holding weapons or firearms.
Okay.
All right, sir, please follow the corrections officer out the door. All right, Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming in.
I believe the next Crawford is also the same case.
Okay. All right, please state your name.
Robin Crawford.
Oh, that was.
And can I inquire, Mr. Mitchell, regarding Ms. Crawford?
You may, and Ms. Crawford, Mr. Mitchell was previously sworn in.
Mr. Mitchell, I'm basically going to ask you the same questions, but as it relates to Ms. Crawford. Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
That's fine.
Okay. And do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved?
No.
And she also qualifies for PTR? Is that okay with you?
Fine.
All right, state has no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Crawford, I see that you do not qualify for a public defender, so I can't appoint a public defender to represent you. But you do qualify for the pretrial release program. That's a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Office. You have to report on a regular basis, keep your address up to date, undergo random urinalysis testing. Do you want to participate in the PTR program, or do you want me to set a monetary bond for your release today?
Where's the program? And I mean, I work.
Right, they'll explain it to you further. You'll get additional information about the PTR on how you report in. And I think, do they have telephone reporting, or it has to be in person?
Actually, in regards, because her case is domestic, it would have to be in office.
All right, it would have to be in office reporting.
Is it on a weekend? Because I work Monday through Friday.
I don't know, it's only during the week?
Monday through Friday.
It's Monday through Friday during regular business hours, like 9 to 5, 8 to 5. Yeah, so you won't be able to do that?
I won't be able to do that. I mean, I work for
Okay,
a center.
I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no hostile contact with the victim, and that you possess no weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you need to turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration.
Okay, and how is that if we live if we are assuming the same house?
I'm ordering, Mr. Mitchell said that he's not in fear of you and that he doesn't mind having contact with you while the case is pending. So you're allowed to return there. I'm ordering that you have no hostile contact.
Okay.
You can't get into an altercation with them or any of the other people in the house.
Okay.
All right, ma'am. Please,
right, thank you.
please follow the corrections officer out. Mr. Mitchell, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
1,500, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
Terrell Donaldson.
All right, Mr. Donaldson, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. You do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. And do we have anybody here on Mr. Donaldson's case? All right, Mr. Donaldson, you do not qualify for PTR. On the battery, domestic violence, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I don't know if you reside there, but I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms that have not already been confiscated by the Sheriff's Department, you need to turn them in within 24 hours of your release. When you turn those in, make sure you leave them in the trunk of your car. Don't walk into the substation with the weapons. And you have a current felony. I'm showing that there hasn't been an information filed on the felony yet, so I'm not going to take any action. Is that correct, State?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, so I won't take any action on your bond on the felony. Oh. He must have thought I was crazy. He's like, sure, I got a felony. All right. Please state your name.
Marquise Hayden.
All right. Is there anybody here on Mr. Hayden's case? All right, Mr. Hayden. Did you want to be represented by the Public Defender's Office?
Oh, no, ma'am.
All right, because I do see that you have the Public Defender on your felony case. You don't want him on this case?
No, I'll get a private. I'm gonna have a private.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch out.
All right, no problem. So I'm going to find probable cause. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $1,500 on the domestic violence. I'm gonna require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence if you reside together. You may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm gonna require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. That if you have any weapons or firearms, you must turn them in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. Now, you're the one with the felony that hasn't been filed on yet, so I'm not gonna take any action on those bonds. All right, please follow the corrections officer.
Say you ain't taking action on those bonds?
I'm not gonna revoke your bonds on the felony because the information hasn't been filed yet.
Okay, so my bond, okay.
Yeah, the bonds on the felonies are still good, and then now you have to post bond on this case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please step forward and state your name.
Carlos Hernandez.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. You do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Do we have anybody here on Mr. Hernandez's case?
No.
All right, so, Mr. Hernandez, you qualify for the pretrial release program. This is a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Department. You're required to report in person on a regular basis and undergo random drug testing and other things that they require you to do. You can participate in the pretrial release program, or I'll set a bond, a monetary bond. Do you prefer to participate in the PTR program?
The PTR program, and how much is the monetary bond, if I may ask?
If you go the bond route, it's $1,500.
Today?
Yes,
And the PTR is also today as well?
yes.
Your Honor, one moment, please.
You may.
You can let the judge know.
PTR, please.
All right, so I'll order you to be released under the pretrial release program. I'm gonna require that you have no contact with the alleged victim and any of the witnesses. I'm going to require that you comply with any requirements if DCF is involved because of the shared children. I'm gonna require that you comply with any requirements of the Department of Children and Family Services. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time to the shared residence in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm gonna require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration.
I do not have any weapons or firearms, and I do comply.
All right, please follow the corrections officer out the door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Mark Hollinger.
All right, Mr. Hollinger, I don't see affidavit of indigency. Did you want to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender?
I don't think that's really necessary.
Okay, is there anybody here on Mr. Hollinger's case? All right, sir, I do find probable cause for the battery domestic violence. You also qualify for the pretrial release program. Would you like to participate in the pretrial release program or have a monetary bond?
Just a monetary bond, I think.
All right.
But I'm a little unsure as to why you made that comment, that you thought I was guilty of some bit of nastiness.
I didn't say you were guilty of anything, sir. I said you've been charged with battery domestic violence, and I find probable cause in the arrest affidavit. that has no determination on your guilt
Well,
or not guilty.
The only comment I would make.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk, but I do need to advise you that this is all being recorded. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Frequently, when people start talking who've been charged with an offense, they admit to elements of the crime and the state will use it against you, but you're welcome to say anything you want. I just want you to be aware of that.
All I want to say is, when the police officers came into the house, I showed them what my girlfriend had done. And she had smacked me a couple times, thrown some things at me. She threw a huge, it was a Christmas train, metal train full of stuff, and hit me in the middle of the back, and it was still all over the floor.
Yes, the officers did put that in
And
there.
then immediately the guy put my hands in handcuffs, and he's looking at the evidence laying all over the place. So I was a little surprised with that. In fact, the one officer was a girl, and I had a chance to chat with her a little bit about what had happened, and she believed me.
Okay.
So
All right, sir.
I don't know how the document that you're talking about here indicates my guilt. I didn't do
Again,
anything.
I haven't said anything about your guilt.
All right, that's fine.
This is not a proceeding to determine guilt. That's a trial. At this proceeding, I have to find out if there was probable cause for the arrest, and I do find probable cause for the arrest. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. You may return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any weapons or firearms, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. Please follow the corrections officer out the door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Denise Jenkins.
All right, Ms. Jenkins, and I also don't see an affidavit here. Did you want to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, and can you tell me, do you have any dependents?
Yes.
How many?
One.
And what's your income on a monthly basis?
About $1,500.
$1,500 on a monthly basis, one dependent? All right, you do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Do we have anybody here on Ms. Jenkins' case? All right, ma'am, I'll find probable cause. You also qualify for participation in the pretrial release program. Pretrial release is a program that's run by the Orange County Corrections Department. You must report on a regular basis in person and comply with different requirements like random drug and alcohol testing, or you can have a monetary bond. Do you have a preference?
Bond, please.
All right, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. I'm going to require that you comply with any requirements of DCF since there were children present. I'm going to, you may return to the shared residence one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings.
Your Honor, one moment. She did have a question. Can I speak to her for one moment, please?
You may.
Thank you.
There wasn't attached, sorry.
Your Honor, being that client has no criminal history, do you have any objection to the bond being lowered to $500?
Sure, she could participate in PTR and not post a bond at all. So those are her options. She chose.
One moment, please, Your Honor. Your Honor, she'll take PTR instead.
All right, we'll release you under the PTR, and I don't believe I said you cannot possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration. Please follow the corrections officer out the door. Please step forward and tell me your name.
Kim Manuel.
All right, Mr. Manuel, I do see that you qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. You've been charged with battery, dating violence. Do we have anybody here on Mr. Manuel's case? No. All right, sir, so you do not qualify for PTR. I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. You may return one time to that residence that you were sharing in order to obtain your personal property in the presence of law enforcement officers. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration.
Yes,
All right, sir, please follow the corrections officer out the blue door.
yes, ma'am.
Please step forward and tell me your name.
Katie Mendoza.
All right, Ms. Mendoza, and this sheet says that you, this says she doesn't qualify, but that other one did qualify.
Did they have any dependents?
Yeah, one.
Yeah, 'cause this one.
No, the last one, Jenkins. She just testified that she made $1,500
Oh,
a
this one
month.
says 1,200.
Yeah, but I didn't even see that. Her testimony was $1,500 a month
month?
with one dependent.
Okay, because this one is weekly, that's why. Hers monthly, yes, she qualifies. That one says weekly or monthly?
Oh, it says every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's
All right,
why.
so she doesn't, all right.
Yeah, but monthly, yes.
Sorry, okay. All right, ma'am, you do not qualify for a public defender. Is there anybody here on the Mendoza? No. All right, ma'am, so you've been charged with battery, domestic violence, and I'll find probable cause. You do qualify to participate in the pretrial release program. That's a program run by the Orange County Corrections Office where you have to report on a regular basis and comply with different requirements. Do you want to participate in the PTR program, or do you want a monetary bond?
The release program.
Okay, I'll release you under the pretrial release program. I'm going to require that you have no contact with the alleged victim. And this happened at Disney Springs. I don't know if you, I'm going to require that you maintain a separate residence. If you share a residence with the alleged victim, you may return one time in the presence of law enforcement officers to retrieve your personal belongings. I'm going to require that you not possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release from incarceration, and you'll get additional information on the PTR program. Please follow the officer out the blue door.
Your Honor, DCF was also contacted.
Okay, oh, and follow any requirements of DCF. All right, please step forward and state your name.
Your Honor, next on our docket was Freddie Millard.
Okay,
He's currently not here due to being on mental health status.
all right, and I'll appoint the, public
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
okay. Are you here on Mr. Milford's case?
Lord, yes, ma'am.
All right, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Madeline Gruber.
All right, state you may inquire.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you please state your relationship to Mr. Millard?
He's my life partner and my children's father.
Are you afraid of him?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Once.
Approximately how long ago would you say that was?
In January, like New Year's.
Do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
I do. I need him to have contact with my children.
And he does qualify for the PTR program that you've heard us talking about all morning. Is that something that sounds okay to you?
Where he like checks in with someone. Yes, that would be fine.
She has no further questions, Your Honor.
Like,
Okay, and, so ma'am, you indicated that there had been a prior incident. I didn't hear what year you said it was in.
it was in like New Year's, so it was the beginning of the year.
Okay, and so, were your children, did they observe the altercation this time?
No, they never observed anything.
And
We
how
don't
old
have
are,
any
how old are the
arguments.
kids?
I'm sorry.
How old are your children?
18 months and almost 4.
And so given that this is the second incident, are you sure you're not in fear for him, of him?
I'm not. The only reason I called yesterday is because he was parked outside and we have not communicated. So the non-communication just kind of had it just had me nervous and I didn't know what to do. We have communication problems and we've come a long way from last time. And I'm very emotionally attached to Freddie. I love him. I have a lot of hope for him. He's a great man. He's a good father. He's a good provider. He has a very good career. We have a mortgage. We have cars to pay. We have childcare to pay. For me to do everything by myself, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't want to lose any of that because it's very important to provide for our children. We just need to take we need communication help. We need counseling so we can properly, because I have to deal with Freddie for the next 16 years with my children.
Okay, ma'am.
And they need their father in their life. They love their dad. He's not in any danger to the children. We've never argued or had any issues in front of our children. It's just when
Children know things though, so.
I
this
understand.
This is so I can't order you to counseling. I can't order Mr. Milford. I can't do that, Miller.
I know. It doesn't help me when he's in here. It doesn't
I know,
help
I
me.
understand, but
It
I
doesn't help
want
my
to
children.
encourage you to get counseling. There's a lot of resources out there for battered persons, and I want to encourage you because you can't just agree to see them because you need the financial help.
No, I don't want to say it in
understand.
that way.
But that was your testimony to me, basically.
I do need, I know if Freddie would live at a different residence, he's still gonna help me pay for childcare. He's just that type of person. He's gonna help his family regardless if we're together or not. I don't need him home just for a financial reason.
Okay, I'm going to order him on PTR, and I'm gonna require that he have no hostile contact with you. And I'm also going to order that he comply with any requirements of DCF. I see that the officers called the Department of Child and Family Services, so I'll just also order that he comply with any requirements that DCF may or may not have.
Okay, so can he have contact with the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Based on your testimony, I'm going to allow it, but I really encourage you to also seek counseling for yourself.
It's that we couldn't afford it. We make ends meet just working paycheck to paycheck.
There are some resources that are no charge out there. You might want to look into it, like research the Harbor House, and there are other resources available in the community at no charge that might be able to help you.
Yeah, if someone can point me in the right direction, we've been trying church, we were trying to do the counseling, but they weren't doing anything in person.
The state will give you some information too, ma'am.
There is a representative from
anything.
Harbor House back here, in the gallery. Whenever you leave, you can talk to her and she should be able to point you towards those resources. She's sitting back here with the mask on and the paper. She should be able to help you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for coming in, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Moran?
No, Your Honor. Our next on our docket is Moran. She's not here due to mental health.
All right, and there's nobody here on the Moran. Can I appoint the public defender provisionally?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you'll waive her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and she does qualify for a PTR, so I'll release her PTR, no contact, separate residence, one time to retrieve personal belongings, return one time with law enforcement, no weapons or firearms, turn in 24 hours of release. Okay. Please tell me your name.
Kristen Sovak.
I had Ruida. next.
Your Honor, we don't have that name on our docket.
You have a booking number, Your Honor?
2022 MM 419 AW.
It should be like a 22026.
622. Oh, that's the inmate number. I don't know.
22026622.
He's under a misdemeanor and traffic BOP. He should be last, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me your name again?
Kristen Sovak.
All right, Ms. Sovak. You do qualify for a public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. We don't have anybody here. And you qualify for pretrial release? Yes.
I believe the victim, unless she bonded out, she's in custody as well.
Okay. Oh, that's right, but she's in the afternoon, isn't she?
Yes.
Interfering with the prisoner?
So I'm not too sure if she would want contact or not.
Okay, yeah, I'm going, well, considering what she said, if she goes to jail, I'm going to jail too. But I can't order it, so I'll release you PTR, and I'll just, for right now, I'm gonna require that you have no contact with, I know your sisters, but until until she can come and testify, I'm gonna order that you have no contact.
Ma'am, the hotel room was in my name, and I live in Sunrise, and I have to pick up my son by 3 o'clock. Can I just get out? The whole thing started because somebody stole my phone.
Hold on, yeah, I read that.
And then she can figure out what she needs. She lives in Tampa, I live in Sunrise.
Yeah, you can go back there and get your belongings. If your sister is there, though, you need to have, she hasn't, but they said she bonded out already.
No, I said she has a bond. I don't know if she bonded yet, but she's
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said she bonded out. Okay, yeah, so you can be released and go get your belongings and get on your way and have no contact with her until a court orders otherwise.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Your Honor, what were the conditions?
Oh, wait. Since you live in Sunrise, we don't want to do PTR because it's domestic violence. She'd have to come back, right?
How far is Sunrise?
It's like 3.5 hours, and I work at Publix full-time.
All right, I'll set bond in the amount of $500.
Are you able to afford that?
All my stuff is at
Yeah.
the hotel.
I'll ROR you.
No condition.
No contact with the victim, and if the victim is at the hotel room when she goes, she has to call law enforcement. Please step forward and state your name.
Rochelle Talbert.
All right, Ms. Talbert, and let's see here. You do qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Sir, if you'll please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Eric Watts.
I'm sorry, tell me your name again?
Eric Watts.
Watts. All
Yes,
right, state you may inquire, Mr. Watts.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your relationship to Miss Tarlbert?
Yes, ma'am. We have a 2-year-old daughter together.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes, ma'am, it has.
Approximately how long ago was the last time?
August 28th and I think August 7th. It's been in the last, say, 6 months.
And do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am. Being that we have a 2-year-old daughter together, my daughter primarily lives with me right now at this time. Miss Talbert, she's listed as a transient. She's trying to find her stable housing and a job. So therefore, because my daughter does live with me, I'm a homeowner and I'm retired from the military. I keep my daughter all the time because of her situation. But I do allow Miss Talbert to call. I do allow us to meet. We'll meet at like Lake Eola or somewhere or Chuck E. Cheese to allow her, bonding time. Even though she has her current situation, that's still her daughter, and I don't try to keep her away from her. So, because of those situations, I would like for her to be able to have contact with me as well as her daughter. Upon, like I said, the deputy called me last night, and upon her arrest last night, my daughter was with her because she had a hospital stay. She currently has pneumonia. So I don't know where my daughter is right now, but I would also like to ask the judge, could she ask her when she got arrested last night, who has my daughter, so that I can try to, get her back, because she's under a lot of medication. But to answer all your other questions, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I believe that is it. Thank you, sir.
All right, I don't know if I can inquire, or I don't know if that's gonna hit any element or create another charge.
I can ask her on this side if,
Go ahead.
moment, please, Your Honor.
Because I don't know, this was an arrest affidavit, so I don't know if DCF was, I don't know what happened when the arrest occurred.
I don't see anything within the warrant.
From my understanding, she's able to be dropped off at daycare tomorrow, the daycare that he's aware of, and he can pick her up tomorrow.
But is she safe right now? Was when the police arrested you, did they call DCF, or was there an adult there to take care of there was an adult present to take care of the child?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't know who the adult was?
Your Honor, I don't. And at this time, like I said, the reason that she was with her mother is because she had a hospital stay. She currently has pneumonia. She has medication that she has to take every 4 hours, antibiotics, and she's on a breathing machine. So therefore, me waiting till tomorrow, I don't know who this person is and if they will administer.
Right.
the
Can you tell us
medication.
where the minor child is right now?
She's with my sister.
Can she call and have them to just take her to the daycare right now, and I can just go up to the daycare and pick her up? Is she able to call them?
I don't know if she can make a phone call or not.
Okay.
Do you know where her sister lives?
Because it's bad blood between me and that family, I don't go anywhere around her. But if she can make a phone call from her end and just ask them just to go ahead and just take her up to the daycare and drop her off, I can make arrangements with the daycare owner to pick her up. Because she has to have all her medication.
If we can get you to a phone, I don't know if that's possible, but if you can get to a phone, would you be willing to do that?
I would prefer to drop her off in the morning because I don't want any of my family members to be involved in any of this due to other things that have occurred before.
I don't, this is so far beyond what I could do at IAs. State, if you can give them some victim resources and maybe help them out, it's really not, I apologize, sir, but this is beyond the scope of what I can do
I
at
understand.
IAs. I know you were just trying to smooth it over, and I was trying to help, but I don't think it's
So
gonna be
is
possible.
she saying that okay, I'm trying to have an understanding.
She wants you to go pick up the child tomorrow. She doesn't want to let her family members know that there's anything going on, so she doesn't want to call them today and tell them to take them to daycare. She wants to wait until they take her to daycare tomorrow on the regular.
Okay, just asking so that you could, do you know how they will know to just take her to daycare in the morning?
I'm assuming that she's pre-made arrangements for that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it sounds like this was already set up for her to do that.
So that I can be clear, she's made arrangements for my daughter to be dropped off at the Play Palace in the morning.
That's what she's indicating, so, I'm assuming that she's telling the truth.
Okay. Before we close that part out, can you confirm that for me so I'll know, is that where my daughter's gonna be in the morning?
Your Honor,
Yes.
if the judge issues a no hostile contact, she's willing to text him in the morning if she's released when the daughter's at the daycare.
All right, will that suffice, sir, that
Yes,
she'll
ma'am.
text you in the
like I
morning?
said,
You just want to make sure your daughter's safe right
She
now.
has to have this medication.
Yeah, she needs her
and
medication.
she's on a
Is she
breathing machine.
is your sister responsible? Does she know the medicines that she needs to take? Is she giving them to her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so I'm afraid that's the best I can do.
Yes, ma'am.
But, it says here that, she qualifies for PTR, but one of the violations was, one of the arrest warrant was for a violation of a PTR condition. So, I mean, if you couldn't comply with PTR before, I'm not gonna put you on PTR again. So on, battery, domestic violence, I'll set bond in the amount of $1,500. And on the violation of a PTR condition, I'll set bond in the amount of $150. I'm gonna require that you have no hostile contact with the alleged victim. I'm also going to require that you comply with any requirements of DCF. I don't know if DCF is involved, but if they are, I'm gonna order that you comply with any requirements of the Department of Children and Family Services. And I'm gonna require that you not possess any weapons or firearms, and that if you have any, you must turn them into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours of your release. You had another question, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I can wait until you finish, Judge.
Go ahead.
Can you, and this is kind of like the nexus of the situation, and I don't believe that Ms. Tarver quite understands when you say no hostile contact. Would you kind of like
Elaborate on that?
what you mean when you say no hostile?
Sure. So what I mean by no hostile contact is that you can't have any altercations with the victim. That means no physical, no yelling, no screaming, no slamming, throwing things, anything of that nature. You can communicate like adults about your daughter and her care and getting her in daycare and texting him to pick him up, but you can't send him like text messages, I hate you, I want you to die, I'm gonna come for you, things of that nature. That would be hostile. Yes, sir.
Last thing, based on what you just explained, there's 2 co-defendants that's tied to this case. Can you please explain to Ms. Tarver, please not to have any of her family members or her other kids' father contacting me or coming to my home, because I've had one guy trespass. He's one of the co-defendants, and he currently has active warrants now, and all of it is tied together. But I don't want any problems out of anybody that's tied to her.
All right, thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. So what you can't do personally, you can't get other people to do. So I'm ordering that you have no hostile contact, and that means you can't get somebody else to have hostile contact with him when you can't do it. So that pertains to you, and you can't direct other people to do it, to threaten him, to attempt to intimidate him, to go and talk to him about the case.
Your Honor?
Yes.
In regards to bond is set at $1,500. Do you have any objection to it being lowered to $500? She doesn't have any criminal history or any convictions.
Well, she does have criminal history.
I don't see.
Your Honor, she does have several prior arrests, all with the same victim and all other violent offenses. State would object and say that the bond that's currently set is reasonable, given all of her history is violent in nature, some including the same victim.
Yeah, I find that the bond is reasonable.
Okay.
All right, please follow the corrections officer out the door.
And sir, I'm giving you a card with the case number and the state attorney's phone number. We are not going to be able to do anything more than the judge kind of did today. However, someone might be able to help in some kind of way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Please step forward and state your name.
Soraya Oswald.
All right, Miss Oswald, looks like you're here on an out-of-county warrant, and there's already bond set on it, so, let's see here. In the Jacksonville, or I guess Duval County, there's a bond in the amount of $5,003 on count 1, $2,003 on count 2. I'll stay those bonds, and then you have another one out of Duval County that has bond in the amount of $2,503. I'll stay that bond. Then you've got 2 more also out of Duval County, and the bonds are set in the amount of $1,003 on counts 1 and 2, and I'll stay those.
Your Honor, one moment, please. She does have a question.
Okay. Please step forward and state your name. A little louder? All right, Mr. Ruda, okay. And you do qualify for the public defender, so I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. And you are here on a violation of probation. And the judge has set bond in the amount of none. So I will stay that bond. And then just stay in contact with your public defender will stay in contact with you and let you know when your VOP hearing will be. And let's see here.
There's another case on
It's a new law and a
No, not in front of this judge because, yeah. Right.
All right, so you, oh, but this is not the VOP warrant? It's not the same thing? I thought when I read it, I thought it was the same thing. Okay, so there's a separate charge, contempt of court, violation of a injunction against domestic violence. All right, so I'll appoint the public defender in that case. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $5,000 on the violation of the injunction. I'm going to require that all conditions of the injunction remain in place, including no contact with the victim. And I'm going to
And he also has an out on bonds, violation of an injunction, same victim, same injunction.
yeah, so that's why I was confused. I thought it was the same one. So he's out on bond in this other case, 2022 MM 636 AW.
Yes.
Okay, and I see that one, it has not been filed on yet.
Your Honor, we just got it November
got it.
5th. It's been 10 days.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a reasonable amount of time for a state to file. And he just posted bond on that case 11/7 and picked up this new violation last night. And recently pled to a violation of an injunction in October.
All right, I'm going to revoke the bond in 2022 MM 636 AW. And so the judge assigned to that case will have to determine what to do. What are you here on?
Good morning, Judge.
Morning.
Jamarcus Lane,